Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on setting up and using your VR headset with Yulio. Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Nicole. I'm one of the client success specialists here at Yulio, and I'll be hosting today's session. So, our main objective for today's webinar is to get you prepared for using your virtual reality headset with Yulio and to also go over some best practices for viewing and presenting in VR. If you have any questions that pop up during the session, please feel free to enter them in the question box, and I'll make sure to answer those at the end of our webinar. My contact details are also on the screen now, so if you'd like to follow up on today's webinar with any questions or even an additional training session to kind of walk through maybe something we covered today, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to support you with your questions or set up a time for us to meet. And then finally, if you do have to leave today's session early, I am recording the full webinar and we'll send that to all registrants later on. So you can always watch it back and even share it with the rest of your team as well. So here's our agenda for today's session. I'm going to start off by talking a little bit about why you might want to use a VR headset and which headsets are compatible with Yulio. After that, we'll get into connecting your headset and adding projects to your headset. And then I'll show you how you can view and present in VR and add in some best practices at the end for using your headsets at events. So you might be thinking, why should I use a VR headset? Can't I just show my clients the web browser experience? And technically, yes, you can. And that web browser experience still offers a great 360-degree view of the space. However, presenting your design to your client in a VR headset truly offers a unique experience that's interactive and immersive. And it also just provides a stronger sense of space and scale for your client. This immersive experience can help your clients better understand design concepts, which in turn can reduce those costly misunderstandings and improve client satisfaction. So, within your own teams, VR presentations can encourage collaboration and creative problem solving by just allowing teams to explore design variations together in real time. Now, for compatible headsets, Yulio is compatible with the MetaQuest series of headsets. In the last couple of years, Meta has phased out the sale of some of their older headset versions. So, right now, they're only producing the 3 and 3S headsets. That being said, if you have a previous version, such as the MetaQuest 2 or Pro, you can still use it with Yulio. If you're looking to purchase a new headset, we do recommend the 3 or 3S, and they're both great options to use with Yulio. If you did want to learn a little bit more about those two headsets, Meta has a page on their website that lists all the specifications of each headset and all of their comparable features, so you can kind of decide what's best for your team. Okay, now moving on. Sorry, this is a blank screen here. Moving on to using Yulio with your headset. So, the first thing you're going to want to do once you've set up your headset is download the Yulio Viewer app. So, you'll need to download the app in order to connect your headset to your Yulio account and your projects and view your projects in the app later. So, I'm going to pull up a video here. So, to download the Yulio app, you can start by putting on your headset. Sorry, let me mute this. I'm going to talk over this video here. You can start by putting on your headset. Before downloading the app, you want to make sure your headset is connected to Wi Fi just by opening the settings menu on your headset because you'll need Wi Fi to download the app as well as load projects on to the app later. Okay, so once your headset's on, you can open the Meta Horizon store from your app library. And then you're just going to search for the Yulio viewer app in the search bar. So you'll see our app looks something like this, and then you'll just select that download button and it will download to your device for free. The app is free to download. You just have to have an active Yulio license in order to load projects onto it and view it and use it. So once the app is actually downloaded, the next step would be to connect your headset to your Yulio account. So I'm going to play another video here. Oh, actually, I'm going to keep it the same video and we'll go over that. So you're going to start by opening the app on your headset. Now, when you open the app for the first time, you'll see some in-app onboarding. Once you've completed that, you can look down and find the connect button and then use your hand controllers to enter the email associated with your Yulio account. So once you do this, a confirmation email will be sent to you. So you can go ahead and take your headset off at this point and open your email to confirm that you want to pair your headset. So once that pairing is confirmed, your headset will now be connected to your Yulio account. And you can ensure that your headset is connected successfully just by logging into your Yulio account from your desktop. So at this point, I'd go ahead, take my headset off, and log into my account. So here is what you might see when you log into your Yulio account. So we're here on the projects page. Now to view my connected headsets, I can click on this headset tab here. And you should see that your headset is now connected under the My Headsets tab. So this is where you will manage all the headsets connected to your Yulio account. If you have multiple headsets connected to your account, you can rename them here. So I've renamed mine Nicole's headset just so I can kind of keep track of those headsets. And then once your headset's connected here and you've confirmed that, you can actually now start adding projects to your headset. So to add projects to your headset, you'll select this Headset Projects tab. And then from here, you can select Add Projects, and you'll be able to one by one start adding projects to your headset from any of those project folders in your account. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple. You do have to do this one by one. So once you add one project, select that Add Project button again. And add again. I'm just going to move this around. You can also reorder them just by clicking on these two lines here like I just did. Okay, when you select to add projects here, those projects will automatically load to your connected headsets. And you can add and store up to 20 projects on your headset at any time. Like I mentioned earlier, you will need Wi-Fi for those projects to download to your headset. But once they've successfully loaded onto your device and in the Yulio app, you'll be able to view them with or without Wi Fi. So that's great, obviously, if you're maybe out presenting to a client and you're not sure that you'll have a stable internet connection. And then you can add and delete projects here at any time. To delete a project, you would just click on this red delete button. Now, the final thing I want to note here before moving on is that all the projects you add here under the Headset Projects tab will load to all headsets that you've paired here under the My Headsets tab. So this is something to keep in mind if you have multiple headsets connected to your Yulio account. They will all share that same group of projects. Now, if you want to have separate groups of projects on separate headsets, we recommend using our client galleries feature. And I'll go over this a little bit later in our session. So just keep that in mind. So after putting your headset on and opening the Yulio Viewer app, you should see something like this. So you'll see shortly they're going to go ahead and set their hand controllers down here. And when they do this, you'll notice a message on screen that says gaze control active. Gaze control is another feature we have that helps make the viewing experience as simple as possible. So instead of using your controllers to select projects and elements within the project, you can just use your gaze. So as this person looks around, you'll notice um, there's a small circle in the middle of the screen. You can see it here. This is their gaze indicator. So this user is going to go ahead and open a project by holding their gaze over the view button, and then it will open the project. So if you prefer, you can always pick up your hand controllers at any time and use them instead to point and click. But we do just kind of find it more simpler to put the hand controllers down and use that gaze indicator. So now we're in the immersive experience. I'm just have it paused here for a second. If this is your first time in a VR headset, I recommend just taking some time to look around, taking a moment to get comfortable in the experience before selecting hotspots, moving to new scenes, and all that. Um, if you're familiar with viewing in browser mode already, so if viewing Yulio projects on your computer, viewing it in VR is very similar in terms of our navigation controls. So there's a few different ways that you can navigate scene to scene. The first is, of course, using our navigation hotspots. Those look like this. So it'll be like a larger circle. Those are our navigation hotspots. Navigation hotspots, if you don't already know, are Yulio's form of point to point navigation, and they can help give us a sense of walking through the space. So, to activate the hotspot, you'll just place your gaze on the hotspot and hold it for a couple of seconds. And then, as you see, we'll be in a new scene. Now, the next way you can navigate is with the floor plan, if there's one included in the project. So to find the project floor plan while viewing in VR, you're just going to look down slightly and find that map icon in the menu that appears. Um, you can also see the navigation arrows here. Those are another way to navigate scene to scene. That's just that allows you to navigate from the previous scene to the next scene or back. And then, okay, this person's going to open up the floor plan. Again, that's that map icon. Not every project will include a floor plan, but if it does, you'll see it there. So, just like when you're viewing in browser mode, with the floor plan open, you can identify where you're standing in the project by the blue colored location marker. The red markers are where you can navigate to by holding your gaze over any of them. So they're going to do that now, hold their gaze over one of these markers and navigate back to reception. So we're back in that reception area. And as you can see, there's various other enhancement hotspots around the scene, which again, you can activate just by holding your gaze over them. As a reminder, Yulio's hotspot options include text, image, video, audio, and augmented reality. And you'll see this user is just going to go through and activate some of those just to give you an idea of what they look like in VR. Okay, now if you look down and open that menu again, you'll see an X icon, and that's how you can exit the project and return back to your company lobby. Okay, now I'm just going to play one more video here to give you an example of what you'll see when you open an augmented reality hotspot in a VR headset. So, for those of you who haven't used augmented reality yet, our AR hotspots or augmented reality hotspots allow you to view project elements in full 360 and within the context of your physical surroundings. So, when you view an AR model from a compatible headset, the model will appear as a digital overlay on your real physical space. So, whatever space you're standing in. Um, this allows you to actually see how that object or element will fit or look in your actual space. So, for some of our furniture clients, for example, this is a great tool for showcasing to your clients how a piece of furniture um, or a group of furniture items will fit in their existing spaces. Okay, so I'm going to press play here. So, when viewing an AR hotspot, you would want to pick up your hand controllers again because you do need them to interact with AR. So, this user is going. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me press pause here. So, how do I pause here? This user is going to activate this AR hotspot, and you'll see that they can move, rotate, and lift the object. And you can even get up close to the object and walk around it. That is a little bit limited in a VR headset because you're bound by a kind of like a virtual safety circle so that it just helps you not run into anything if you are in a VR headset. So in the headset, you won't be able to walk around too much or get up close to it too much. But um, if you're viewing AR on a phone or a tablet, you can get up close to that model. But, anyways, so I'll press play here and you can see how this model is being interacted with. You can lift it, rotate, and then you'll also notice in a second they're going to look down at their controllers and there will be some text there. And that just indicates what each of those buttons on your controllers do as it relates to that AR model. So that just helps you interact with it uh, if it's your first time. Okay, before moving on from this, I do just want to mention that you do need a more recent MetaQuest headset version for this, or to be able to interact with AR models like this. So this would include the MetaQuest 3 and 3S. And I do believe it also includes the MetaQuest Pro if you have that past version. Okay, so now that we've gone over viewing projects in VR, I'm going to take us back to my Yulio account and go over a couple of ways you can share your VR projects, specifically to headset users. All right, so I want to start off by going over client galleries because I did mention it briefly earlier. You can access client galleries by selecting the resources tab here from the top and then client galleries from the drop down menu. Client galleries allows you to create individual collections of up to 20 projects, which you can then share directly with a client or even create a curated gallery of projects specifically for an upcoming event or meeting. So let's go ahead and click on this create gallery button. So you'll see here there's two gallery options available to you. There's individual gallery and event gallery. And you can create an unlimited number of either gallery, regardless of how many seats you have on your account. So, an individual gallery is typically what you'll want to use if you want to share a portfolio of projects directly with a client. When you create an individual gallery, an email invitation will be sent to your client where they can log in to view their gallery of projects online. You or your client can also connect a VR headset to the gallery so that they can view the projects in VR as well. And if you make updates to any of the projects in their gallery, those projects will automatically be reflected on the client's end. An event gallery is what you'll create if you want to load a headset with a curated gallery of projects for an upcoming event or meeting. It essentially allows you to set up and manage a collection of projects on your headset that are specific, to your upcoming event. As I mentioned earlier, if your team has multiple headsets and you're using them for different projects or purposes, creating an event gallery or multiple event galleries is a great way to control which projects are on which headsets. So I recommend creating multiple event galleries if you have, anytime you have multiple headsets, um, and you want to showcase different projects on different headsets. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is a newer feature that we have. Let's open here. And this helps you send your projects to a client's headset more easily. So, this is our new Share by QR code feature. Um, you can access this just by opening a project, and selecting the Share tab here, and then the QR code. So, as you might know, all projects in your Yulio account have an associated QR code um, that previously was there to allow anyone to scan that code with their phone or their tablet and view the project on their device. Recently, we expanded that feature now to include compatible headsets. So now anyone with a MetaQuest 3, 3S, as well as the Pro, I believe, would be able to scan a project's QR code with their headset's camera and automatically load the project in the Yulio app for them. Once they have the Yulio app downloaded to their device, when the app is open, they'll be able to look down and find a scan Yulio QR code button, and that will open up the scanner. So anyone can use this feature because, like I said, the Yulio app is free to download, and you don't have to have an account to download the app. So once the app's downloaded, you'll be able to, like I said, look down, find that scan QR code button, and then just scan any code that's sent to you. I typically recommend this method of sharing your VR projects in scenarios where you just want to quickly share a single project with a client or a colleague because it doesn't require them to connect their headset to your Yulu account or a client gallery. As a reminder, you can share a project QR code a couple of ways. So here's one. You can go into the project in your account, select the share tab, and then open up this QR code here. And you can download the QR code, take a screenshot, or share your screen. And then another way to get this QR code is anytime you share a project URL with a client and they open up that project in their browser, there will be they can select this share icon here at the bottom of the screen and open up the QR code this way and scan it this way to view in VR. Okay, now I want to move on to actually presenting your projects in VR. The best way to present your VR projects, especially to clients in a headset, is with our Collaborate feature or Collaborate tool. You can access Collaborate again from this top navigation bar just by clicking on Collaborate. If you haven't yet used Collaborate, it is essentially an elevated presentation mode. So when you host a session, you can have all of your guests meet in the same virtual space to guide them around, see what they're seeing, and collect their feedback. You can host a Collaborate session in person or remotely, and any guest that you're meeting with can join in on their own headset or in browser mode if they don't have a headset. So I'm going to host a really quick mock session for us today, just so you can get an understanding of how you would host sessions for your clients in headsets moving forward. So to begin, as a host of the Collaborate session, you can't launch a session from a VR headset. So you'll always have to launch and present a Collaborate session from your browser on your computer. That being said, your guests can, of course, join from their headset or an internet browser. So if you come here to launch your Collaborate session, By default, the first project in your headset projects tab will auto load by default, like I said. So if you've added projects to, I'll go back, I can go back and show you. Mm. If you've added projects under the headset tab and in this headset projects area, that first project there will auto load by default. So that's why you see this um, kitchen experience loaded here. Um, if you want to turn this off, you always can do that just by going into the settings here and turning off auto load first headset gallery project. So when you turn this off, the next time you host a collaborate session or go to launch a collaborate session, you'll be able to choose which project that you want to host the session in. Okay. So there's a few different ways that your guests can join your collaborate session depending on the device they're joining with. So if your guests are in a headset that has already been connected to your Yulio account, or you're launching a project from a client gallery where the headset's connected, the project will auto load in the Yulio viewer app when the collaborate session launches. So all your client would have to do is put on their headset, open the app, and they will automatically join in on the session. If they don't have a headset that's connected to your account or a client gallery, they can join the session just by scanning the session's QR code with their headset's camera. So that's another way that you can use our scan by QR code feature that I was just talking about. So to join by QR code, you would just share your screen with your client. So this screen here, you would share it with your client, and they would be able to put their headset on and launch the Yulio app and open up that scan code and scan the QR code from their headset. If your guest is not joining from a headset at all, they can always join by their phone just by scanning this QR code, or on their computer by going to live.yulio.com and entering the session's unique group code. So, to give you an idea of how a collaborate session might look from your guest perspective moving forward, I'm going to give you the chance to join in on this mock session as a guest. So, if you'd like to join, you can go ahead and join from your phone. Just go ahead and open your camera app to scan the QR code here. As I continue the session, if you do join me, you can look at my screen to see what your perspective will be as you host sessions moving forward. And then what you'll see on your own device is what your guests will see as the participants. Obviously, keeping in mind that if you've joined the session from a mobile device, the headset experience is much more immersive, but it'll give you an idea. So I'll give you a minute to join if you'd like. But the first thing I want to point out here as we get started with our session is one of our more recent features that we launched in Collaborate, and that is our live meeting tool. And this can be activated just through this Start Chat button. So, live meeting is an integrated function right within Collaborate that allows you to chat with your guests right within the Collaborate session. So, if you've used Collaborate before, this means that you no longer have to use an external communication or meeting tool to speak with your guests and Collaborate. You can now just do it right from the session. What's great about this tool as well is that it works whether your guests are joining from a smartphone, desktop, tablet, or VR headset. So, VR headsets, at least the more recent ones, include speakers in them. So, you can actually talk to and hear others in the collaborate session right from your headset. So to turn it on, you would just go ahead and click on the start chat button and you can start communicating in real time with whoever is in the session. I'm going to leave it off today, of course, just because I have a webinar going, so it'll interfere with the webinar, but it's super simple to use and obviously it can really elevate your collaborate sessions and make communication even smoother. If I were using it today, I'd go ahead and just turn that on now. Okay, now for presenting your Collaborate sessions. As the host, there's two modes that you can present in. We have present mode and explore mode. So I'm going to click on the participants tab. If you had anyone else joining your session, you would see their name here as well, and you'd be able to see what kind of device they're joining on. So you'd be able to see if they're in a headset or in browser. So, like I was saying, by default, your Collaborate sessions will always open in present mode. We recommend starting off in this mode because it gives you, as the host, the control to guide your viewers through the experience and direct your viewers' attention to certain areas in a scene. In this mode, only the host can activate hotspots and move to new scenes. And each time the host activates a hotspot or enters a new scene, those actions will be reflected for the guests as well. So even though you are kind of in control of where your guests are in the experience, your guest screens are not going to mirror your screen exactly. This is mainly so that our headset users don't get dizzy in the headset. So even though you're in the same scene, they might not be looking exactly where you're looking, or in the same direction that you're looking. So, as the host, you can direct your guests' attention to a certain area just using this spotlight button we have here. So, let's say I wanted to turn everyone's attention to the sofa. I would adjust my gaze over to the sofa, select the spotlight button, and then everyone would join me in this same direction. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move to a new scene here. I'll move to scene 2 just by clicking on the navigation hotspot. And then, like I said, when you move to a new scene, if you joined me, you would have moved into this addition or second scene with me. Now, while in present mode, I can also give presenter privileges to any of my guests at any time. To do this, I would just click on their name in the participants tab, and they would be able to take control of the presentation by activating hotspots, moving to new scenes, and so on. Now, in addition to present mode, we also have explore mode. So in this mode, all guests can explore the project freely, including activating hotspots and navigating to new scenes. During this time, explore mode will gaze through each guest's view every 10 to 15 seconds so that on your end, you can see what all your guests are looking at and where they're exploring. If you're in explore mode and you want to take back control of the presentation, you can just click on present again, and then you will um, take back those present privileges. Okay, I'm going to end the collaborate session here, and then I'm just going to go over a couple more things before we wrap up. So many of our headset users tend to take their headsets with them to presentations, meetings, events, or conferences. And there are a few things that you just want to prepare for before heading into these settings, just to make sure that things run smoothly with your headset. So I've listed a few best practices here for preparing for presentations or taking your headsets on the road. First, of course, you want to make sure that all of your headsets have the Yulio app downloaded. If you are showcasing a predetermined set of projects, um, whether those are the projects you've added to your headset page or in a client gallery, you want to make sure before heading into your event or presentation that all of those headsets have been connected to your Yulio account or the client gallery. You also want to make sure that the projects have successfully loaded to the Yulio app inside the headset. You'll want to make sure that they've downloaded because they do need Wi-Fi to download. And if you're in a location with poor internet connection, it can sometimes take a while for those projects to download. So you want to make sure they're downloaded beforehand so that when you get to wherever you're going, you can view those projects with or without internet. Next, of course, you're going to want to make sure your headset is fully charged and that your headset controllers have full batteries. It's always good practice to bring extra batteries for the hand controllers. And if you are intending to use the headset all day at, let's say, a conference or a trade show, you may want to consider purchasing an extended battery pack for the headset. This is what we use when we bring our headsets to events where it will be used all day because you don't want the headset to run out of battery in the middle of presenting. Another thing to kind of have in your toolkit is we like to offer a stool or a swivel chair for our guests or passerbys to kind of sit on and view in VR just to make them more comfortable. Obviously, VR headsets are becoming more popular, but there's still some people that haven't tried them. And we find that if we offer them to sit down, it kind of helps get them into the headset and feel more comfortable rather than standing. And then the final thing that you can do that I don't have it written here is we often like to cast or screen share our headsets onto a screen at our booth. So this is particularly if you're in a position where you're at a booth or you have a screen with you at in a booth like setting. You can actually cast the headset onto a screen so that you'll have someone in the headset looking at your experience and then people on the outside or just passing by can see what that person is looking at. And it usually attracts a lot of attention and interest. So that is something I also wanted to add here as well. But all right, that is all for today's webinar. I hope that you were able to learn some helpful tips for setting up your headset and viewing and presenting in VR. Thank you all for joining me today. If you have any questions or if you've already asked some questions, go ahead and submit them in the question box. I'll take a minute after this to look through those and answer any questions that might have come through. And as a reminder, if you do want to book an additional training session with me on anything we did or didn't cover today, my email's up on the screen, so please feel free to reach out and I'll gladly work with you to set up a time for us to meet. Of course, if any questions come up later, feel free to email me at any time. I also have our webinar schedule up on screen as well. We have webinars scheduled for the rest of the spring and summer, so you can plan ahead and register in advance for those as well. Okay, well, have a great rest of your day and thank you for joining me. Like I said, I'll stick around for a couple of minutes to answer any questions that might have come through. But other than that, have a great rest of your day.